Hello, welcome to a very special bonus episode of How We Made Your Mother. I'm Josh Radner. I'm here with my friend Craig Thomas. Hi, Craig.
Hey, Josh.
Hey. We are doing an episode that we like to call General Questions. General questions? It was all right.
It was not that low.
We keep trying to sync up the salutes, and
it's just not going to happen. It's
not
going to happen.
I'll tell you why it's not working. Just because we have the ever so slightly, we have a delay on So
yes. Next time, I think our live show, when we do a live show, let's
do it right on the live show, please. We have to do a live show just for that one thing.
And let's hope that the audience syncs up with us. Like we should get however many people. Yeah. We are discussing the television program, How I Met Your Mother, which ran on CBS from 2005 to 2014. The episode under consideration this week, which we talked about a couple days ago, is Mary the Paralegal, written by Chris Harris. That was episode 18, is that right?
19.
19, Mary the Paralegal, episode 19. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. was episode 18, yes?
I think so.
Okay, so this is, we'll see.
I've seen the show.
Someone will correct us for sure if we're wrong. But Mary the Paralegal, super funny episode with some real touching moments. But let's hear what people had to say about this episode, what they want to go deeper on. Yeah.
What do you got for us, Alek?
Well, many people pointed out, of course, a very important catchphrase, and Jenny Finn 22 wants to know who came up with lawyered. It became such a great hymnium catchphrase, definitely one of my favorites.
Boy, I can't remember. I don't know. Maybe it was me. Maybe it was Carter. Maybe it was Chris Harris. I can't remember. There's a lot. It's funny. There's certain jokes where I'm like, I can picture where the writer or I was when they pitched that joke, you know,
right.
Or like, I remember I said half of that, but then that other person said that thing that made it even better. Or like, and other ones where I'm like, I don't know. It's just one of those mysteries.
Also when you're co-writing, like Ben Lee and I wrote a bunch of songs together, made 2 albums together. There's a song of ours called Down in the Dirt. And it's I came in with the chorus actually, but the rest of the song, it's quite an epic song. I remember the day we were sitting in my living room, and I remember we caught a wave. We were just going back and forth. And I don't remember who came up with what lyric at all in this song. I just know that we were constantly leapfrogging over the other person's idea, refining the other idea. And in some ways, that's kind of evidence of a great collaboration, is like, it's a Mobius strip. Like, I don't know where one thing ends and the other begins.
Yeah, I think that's the dream. And I think that's a kind of creative flow that it's like, if a writer's room or a songwriting team gets into that, you almost don't want to question it. I almost have magical thinking about it, where it's like, you almost don't want to pick apart how it happened. It just happened.
But you know what's funny? Didn't you say that a bunch of lawyers have come up to you and said in law school they would sing to themselves, being a lawyer had better be
yes.
awesome.
And say lawyered. We've had a bunch of lawyers say lawyered. I started saying that. Yeah.
You don't have to be a lawyer to say lawyered, though. That's what's fun. Because it's a very democratized idea of like, you win an argument, you can just go lawyered. You know,
our good friend Noah Garrison was and is he was an environmental lawyer. He went to school for first geology, then law school, then combined them to be an environmental lawyer. And now he sort of teaches law at UCLA through that lens. And in some ways, all of it goes back to basing the character on our good friend. I'm looking at Alek. I'm addressing this to Alek because Noah is Alek's one of his oldest friends, right? You went to elementary school with him and beyond.
No. We went to daycare. 3.
Yes.
We were 3.
And then I met you guys at Wesleyan. You both went to Wesleyan together. God, you guys did your entire education together.
Yes,
and then
almost.
we honored Noah with the profession, Marshall's profession. And
I was going to ask, I can't remember, is that where being a lawyer, is that where
100%. I just took Noah's, I hope I asked Noah's permission. I'm notorious for just telling people after I did these things and not remembering to ask them. But I think I asked Noah, and certainly he was delighted either way that it was based on.
Do you know what's funny is sometimes you make these decisions like professions or even surnames, right? That are kind of quick. You just like, that'll do, right? Like Marshall's a lawyer or Ted's an architect. Or I remember the day Ted had his last name, I remember from, I think, the pilot, but not everyone had their last name. Barney didn't have a last name. I don't know if anyone else had a last name, but I remember
Robin did, I think, and
Robin
did
was
on the news. Yeah.
But you guys came in with the other 3 last names and kind of assigned them. And I remember one, like Barney Stinson sounded like strange. Like it sounded like, I don't know, is that right? But you named him after the Replacements. Which replacement?
The bass player of the Replacements, Tommy Stinson.
Tommy Stinson.
Carter, huge Replacements fan. Carter Bays, who made me into a huge Replacements fan, and Carter. So let's honor Stinson. Just a cool, weird.
Yeah, it's a cool, weird, like
name.
not super. Yeah, Erickson, Aldrin. These kind of, they all end in sun.
They kind of do. There's clearly we like that phoneme, that particular phoneme sound.
But they you might have made these assignments of names and occupations. You kind of can make them a little flippantly, like even if it's a placeholder, and then suddenly 9 years on, you're like Lily Aldrin, Barney Stinson, Marshall Erickson. Like they sound like properly famous people. Like they're like there couldn't be another name.
And it's kind of funny because you're like, oh, there's just these made up names. Then you go, like every other fucking name. It's all made up. All of our names are made up
That's
sounds.
Right. That's right.
You know why we named Lily Aldrin, right?
Was it Buzz Aldrin?
So Carter and I wrote multiple pieces for Buzz Aldrin when we wrote for Dave Letterman. We did these pieces where we'd have Buzz Aldrin. It'd be like astronaut on the roof, astronaut in a cab, and he would seem slightly deranged because he'd be like, "Hi, Dave, I'm up here on the roof. Look what happens when I hit a golf ball." And he just hit a golf ball and it would just sort of trickle off. Isn't that amazing? He thought he was on the moon. He thought he was just acting like everything was like I'm holding up this pen. Watch what happens when I drop it. And the pen would just drop. And we did all these bits, and then it became this weird thing where we had Buzz Aldrin as the late show correspondent for the Daytime Emmy Awards. And we went, Carter and I, with Buzz Aldrin dressed as an astronaut in full astronaut gear. We had to walk from Late Show, Ed Sullivan Theater to Radio City for the Daytime Emmy Awards, where like soap opera stars are being given awards. And he had a microphone and he was on the red carpet in an astronaut outfit. And he was saying like, "Hey, are you proud to be nominated for Best Supporting Actor on a daytime soap?" And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's my first nomination. I'm really proud." He'd be like, cool. I walked on the moon." And he sort of just would give people shit that his achievement.
That's a real.
Bigger than
that's the definition of a good sport, right there. Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, that's really. You must be proud. I did walk on the moon though, and it was just. And we had Buzz Aldrin as an astronaut doing just weird shit all the time. And so we thought to ourselves and he was really good sport about it, and he's funny. And we thought we would one day get him. We would reveal that Lily's grandfather was Buzz Aldrin and cast him to be on How I Met Your Mother as Lily's grandfather. And we pitched it and we asked it, and somehow it did not come together. It was a polite pass. We thought we could call in our late show goodwill, and we were a new enough show. Maybe he didn't know what it was.
He's like, "I will not be humiliated."
I think he really enjoyed doing the weird stuff for Late Show, but I don't know what happened. It didn't come together. And then we're like, well, it's a cool last name anyway.
Yeah.
And so she's Lily Aldrin. That's why
clearly Buzz is in the family tree of Lily.
Yeah, he's somewhere. I still believe
somewhere.
he's a relative.
Yeah.
We just didn't get it.
Josh, I feel like you and I talked about this once. It was a script we were working on, whatever it was. The idea that you write a character into a script and then you just cut them. And then like there's this feeling of like, that's a whole actor. A whole actor just didn't get cast in that role and didn't get to be in that movie because you just went, nope. It's a weird amount of power in those early days, like naming someone.
Oh, the first on-camera job I got was this show called Now and Again. There was a show called Once and Again and Now and Again, like in 1999 or 2000. And it was the first on-camera job I got. There were 2 roles that I was reading for, and I got the bigger role. Right? The bigger role. And they were going to pay me, I think, $800 to do it at the time. A lot of money. And I woke up either the morning of doing it or the morning before, got a call from my agent and said, well, the rewrite came through and that character's not in there. But she said, good news, they're still paying you. So I got the $800 but I wasn't able to do it, you know? But yeah, no, you become the, what is the phrase from the Bhagavad Gita that Oppenheimer says? Like, I am death. I am, what is it? Like, I am
the destroyer.
I did not foresee you bringing that exact quote up.
But you become the master of this universe where like you can kill characters, you can resurrect them, you can, and also when you add a character, you've just given an actor a day player.
You create life. You also create life.
You create life. Yeah. So
create Aldrins and Ericksons and Stinsons.
Just as in the next episode, Craig, you created life. It's a preview for next Monday's episode.
Is this my cameo? Is this?
No, this is my cameo.
No, it's your
Next
cameo. Oh,
week.
right. The next one. Forget about my
Yes.
cameo. Yes.
Yes.
That's right. This is a teaser for Alek's
Tune
big
in.
moment. Tune in on next Monday after this, right? This will be the Monday after this for
That's
Alek's
correct.
huge moment. All right, enjoy that.
I just wanted to be able to get to talk
Teaser
about
trailer.
it over the course of 2 episodes, not just one. Okay.
Is this going to be the clip
okay.
for social media?
And I wrote you this little ditty to sing to you in New York City.
Okay. Abhajai Prakash asks, please tell me about how you guys arrived at the idea of telepathic conversations. I love them. I believe them. I have them all the time with myself. I'm not sure if that's the same idea. I also believe this is the first episode to do that. Everyone's in sync. Ted Marshall, and Lily.
Yeah.
That letter's from Abby.
Josh and Alek and we're all having a telepathic conversation right now going, that's not telepathy. I said isn't telepathy. No, look, every friend group has telepathy, right? It's just, and my favorite part of this, you can communicate, right? With your eyes to a really close friend, you can make a bit, you can do a whole riff with somebody, never say a word.
Yeah.
My favorite moment of this is that Lily really hears Marshall's thoughts. Like, I really love that there's a supernatural, like we just break the rule. We say like, she actually is hearing these thoughts. It's not just it really happened. That's my favorite moment. Maybe.
Well, also like when you're having that telepathy, and I think it happens with couples a lot, where you can't wait to get in the car afterwards to actually give voice to the telepathy you were having.
Yes, and be like, were we having that conversation?
Yes,
we were.
I knew
That's what you were
it.
thinking.
Yeah.
That's the best. It's very satisfying, and that's the gift, right? That's the gift of a great partner, a great friend, and.
But it's also, I think we talked about this on the episode, but it's such a good, it's a hilarious bit, like the opportunities to mine comedy and you didn't go to the well too much. I don't think we overused it.
I think we could have used it more.
We could have used it more,
so
to be
much.
honest. Yeah.
I love it so much. It's such a weird shot too, like the extreme close-up of somebody's face. Like, it makes you realize like you don't go to those close-ups for comedy very often, right? Maybe it's very sort of soap operatic to be that tight on somebody's face in a TV show, and it's like it's just bracing. It makes you lean forward and pay attention. And the fact that you're acting to your own voiceover, Josh would have pre-recorded his voiceover, and he's acting to his voiceover, as Pam pointed out. That it really played great.
I worked, as I've mentioned before, as my biggest name drop, but I did this show Hunters with Al Pacino for 2 years, and I had this big scene with him where he had a lot of dialogue, and I was kind of coked up and spent on the floor, like on the bed, listening to him. And
Your character was.
Yeah, my character. No, my character wasn't. I'm talking about the way I came into film. But I asked him on either the day we were shooting or the day we were rehearsing, I said, how do you think of scenes where you're mostly wordless, where you don't have dialogue? How do you approach those scenes? And he said, never stop thinking. He said the camera loves thought. So even if you're going over your grocery list, don't have the camera catch you when you're blank. Always be thinking something, because the camera loves watching thought.
Great.
And there's something about those close-ups where it's like, it's film acting. Normally you don't get the closed caption or whatever, like the voiceover where it's telling you but the comedy comes from, I'm acting out with my eyes and little eyebrow twitches and nostril flares and smirks or whatever of what the character's thinking. So it's almost like the purest expression of like cinematic acting, which is, I asked a friend who's a director, like, what is great film acting? And he said, when the audience understands the thoughts of the character without them having to say a word.
Yeah, what great acting advice. And like, just thinking of like Dog Day Afternoon, thinking of like Pacino's great performances, like he's never not alert. Like in that movie, like Dog Day Afternoon, like all he's like,
so much electricity behind the eyes.
So much electricity behind his eyes. Yeah. It's a great acting note. Okay. Turns out he's good. He may be a good actor.
I know that, Josh, you become friends with Rob Reiner. Do I have that correct from some?
I did a pilot with him the year before I did How I Met Your Mother, and we've stayed in touch over the years.
So All in the Family, check it out. It's the rare sitcom with serious close-ups, serious close-ups, drama close-ups. It's very odd to see, but obviously it works.
Yeah, it does work. Great show.
Okay, so many other things here. Here's just a little detail. People are interested in the use of brands on screen. Keenan99 says, I know brands will frequently be blurred out or covered up or redesigned on certain TV shows. This seems to happen occasionally on Himium. I noticed in this episode, the shot of the TV during the Yosemite Sandy bit, there's a VHS tape of Mad TV showing. Is this a planned homage to Mad TV or a coincidence?
That's a prop coincidence. I don't know why that was there. But I do want to say something about that bit, which is that I think that bit is from, because Chris Harris wrote the episode, and that actual idea of putting a little mustache or whatever on the TV screen was, I think, from a story from his wife, Chris's wife, Hillary, who's also our friend and very funny person, very funny writer. And her friend group or some friend group in college that I think may have included Paul Giamatti. She was in the same year, I think, as Paul Giamatti in Yale. I think it may have been part of his friend group, would do this, would put a mustache on the TV, and when it would like line up perfectly with someone, there'd be like cheers. Maybe it was a drinking game, but like it was a real thing. And Chris talked about in the room, he said, they're going to do that. They're going to do that to Sandy Rivers. I think all the variations, the idea that it was Yosemite Sandy was probably something we came up with, but we stole this bit from real life, like many an absurd bit.
It's so fun to be a writer because every little random dorm room memory is admissible.
Yeah.
Like it actually helps your job.
It's admissible in court. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. And you have to, I think half the job being a writer, maybe 80% is like 83% is being a sponge, right? Is like just sponging up details and going, this is going to come out somehow.
And having recall for them at the right moment.
Having recall.
Yeah.
Yeah. This fits. This moment fits. Chris Harris, very good at that.
So for a final question, here's under the category of a big question here from Yasmin Zekri. This episode plays with perception. Ted believes Mary is a prostitute, Robin pretends she doesn't care, and everyone's acting instead of just being honest. So here's what I want to ask. How much damage do we do to our relationships when we make assumptions instead of asking the hard questions? And why is pretending always easier than being vulnerable?
Wow. That's
a good question. It's a very
like,
smart question.
It's great. It's totally above our pay grade to answer this, but let's try. That's like a great question to ask of like an actual expert. My wife would be able to answer that question.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Jordana. It sounds like a question Jordana would ask.
I read a really interesting article on Substack that was like, don't let your life be guided by movie logic. And essentially what it was saying, like most plots in a movie are because people won't have hard conversations or uncomfortable conversations. Like, Good Will Hunting could have stopped him and just been like, you seem like a really smart guy, but your anger is getting in the way of your moving forward. Like if someone had just like said these things, obviously you wouldn't have a movie to watch and that wouldn't be good. But the author was saying, don't let your own life be guided by what you see in movies, which is often talking around things, miscommunication. And she did this example that I think she was in law school or a graduate school. And there was a woman, and I don't know if it was like a guy that they both liked or something, where there was a miscommunication / they were at cross purposes for some reason. And she kind of glared at her friend, the woman across the room, and she marched right up to her and said, look, I think we got off on the wrong foot here. And there might be a miscommunication. I would really like to hash this out. And the woman said, oh my God, I'm so glad you said that. I've been feeling the same thing. And she said she became my like ride or die best friend, right? And it's something Tim Ferriss says that your success in life is directly proportional to the amount of uncomfortable conversations you're willing to have. And I just had 2 uncomfortable conversations with people that I needed to have yesterday. And boy, last night, I couldn't have been in a better mood. I felt newly born. It's what Stutz calls death cookies, that these things that are kind of on our list that are looming that you really don't want to do. But once you do them, it uncorks this enormous amount of life energy when you say the thing you feel like socially you're not supposed to say, but when you're vulnerable, I'm a big fan of it. Not maybe in the movie writing, because we still want to have movies to watch where people don't know how to do this. But I think in life, it's a great idea to be as clear, like Brene Brown says, clear as kind.
I have felt terrible since you told me yesterday you never really liked me for 20 years, but I'm glad you slept great.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Craig. Just for me, it was a great relief.
I'm glad it's a load off. It's so true. And I think what I like about again, I think things come out. I'm realizing like this wasn't intentional. This is the episode where we introduced group telepathy. Maybe we introduced group telepathy because so much of the rest of the actual communication is bullshit in this episode.
Yeah.
They're all putting on some fucking bullshit in this episode. This question's exactly right. And this sort of, at a certain moment in the episode, they have to resort to telepathy because no one's actually saying the things.
Some people are wearing masks they mean to be wearing, whereas Mary has a mask thrust on her that's not the correct mask. You know,
she's the only person telling the truth.
She's the only person telling the truth. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Those are our questions. Thank you so much for them on Instagram and everywhere else that you can talk to us on the Facebook How We Made Your Mother fan page. By the way, every time I pause, I say our name, How We Made Your. I trip up over what the name of the show is versus How I Made and I Write It.
Oh, it's very challenging. We made this very hard on ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you so much for everything.
Keep them coming. Thanks, everybody.
I am guilty. Please acquit me. All sins are forgiven. In New York City.
How We Made Your Mother is hosted and executive produced by Josh Radnor and Craig Thomas. The show was produced by me, Alek Lev, and our co-producer is Doug Matica. Our audio producer and mixer is Alex Reeves at Point of Blue Studios, and our digital content producer, aka Gen Z Master, is Emily Blumberg. Artwork by John Morrow. Please follow, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or your podcast player of choice. It really does help the show. Our theme song is NYC by our own Josh Radnor, with additional music by Craig Thomas and Andrew Majewski. Special thanks to Lola Kennedy and Elliot Connors. Visit howwemadeyourmother.com to sign up for our Substack mailing list and for links to our social media. You can also click on the contact page to send us an email or a voice message. Your stories and questions are an important part of the show. Want some merch? Click on the store link or go to howyougetyourmerch.com. Subscribe to Josh Radnor's newsletters on Substack. Order Craig Thomas's debut novel at craigthomaswriter.com/novel. And you can subscribe to my Dead Fathers Society, also on Substack. To learn about how you make a difference, this show's ongoing campaign to raise money for congenital heart disease research, check out the Make a Difference tab at the top of our website. This episode was made possible by the support of Backyard Ventures. People will, in fact, dance.
The real question, it just hit me. Am I in love with you or just New York City?